I think young men need to sit down, and I think this happens in any cultural or community situation, need to listen to the elder folks in the room.
I became interested in the Scottish Rite after I joined the Blue Lodge after many, many years. It was through the influence of a friend of mine who was with me in Japan.
So to me, it's just finding out what happened in the past, how things have progressed, learning some of those life histories that are different from yours are really fascinating, especially since our brotherhood spans around the world.
The younger guys coming into Scottish Rite bring vitality and enthusiasm, and they remind some of us who have kind of lost some of the work over the years what it really is, what the beauty is, what the significance is, and we are reacquainted with it, and creates us an atmosphere in which we become enthusiastic again in the Scottish Rite.
I've been talking for almost a year. I do a lot of nonprofit work and a lot of nonprofit volunteering, and I sit on other boards, so I've been looking at the Children's Theater Board and trying to hopefully increase the relationship between the Masons and the theater and hopefully the community. I think the first time I met him, I was probably helping him put on a costume for the degree. You know, it's that friendliness again, that kind of that outgoingness that was instantly there. The reason that I was drawn to Masonry and the reason I was okay with trying this thing out is this is a group of men who declared out loud, hey, we're working on ourselves. Hey, we make good men better. Hey, we're trying to improve ourselves.
I see you as a brother Master Mason.
Yeah.
Now, we don't have the same hairstyle, I'll go along with that. I think perhaps we look at the Scottish Rite and Freemasonry differently because of those past experiences, the history by which we came. I think, however, our obligations really taken were the same. The commitments that we made to one another and to our bodies were the same. And so I think we have much more in common than disparate.
Being here and working with Merlen and other folks, I think through the degrees, just putting the work on and doing the work together, you learn that really, especially since we're not plugged in while we're doing this work, that there's very little difference. There's a lot to learn from each other, and there's a lot of actual and real difference in our experiences. But when we sit down and we start doing the same thing we've been doing for a couple of hundred years, then it starts to come together, and it's a lot easier to communicate and just get to know each other without any of the facades of, you know, what we would have if we were sitting at a desk in a cubicle somewhere.
I've been in lodge with Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, and anybody else of every other faith that I can think of, and we are one by obligation. We are one by value. We are one by goals, if you will, and that is to rely upon God and one another.
So having a lot of these older gentlemen around all the time, you're definitely going to hear a lot more honesty from them, which I think is always a good thing. And combined with humor, it's even better.
I can mentor you on that.
Yes, this is true.
We can give you the guidance if necessary.
Yeah.
I see in Rich a very inquisitive mind, a man who pursues excellence, who follows his thoughts and comes to conclusions that better himself. I like his friendliness, I like his curiosity, and certainly he is a very bright man.
So just being able to sit down and learn their life lessons and learn their lessons in the lodge, find out some of the history that they've stopped talking about, so that we can, before we go try to change everything, find out if they did the same thing 30 years ago.
I think the older Scottish Rite Masons can be a mentor to the younger Scottish Rite Masons and encourage them to get involved in the degrees, get involved in the Master Craftsman studies, and contribute in various serving areas of the Scottish Rite valleys. And therefore, they will encourage even younger Master Masons to join the Scottish Rite. Truly enjoyed talking with you, Rich.
You too.
We'll get together again in the valley.
Absolutely, we have a reunion this weekend that I'm sure.
That's right, I'll be there. You'll be there.
Yep, I'll be backstage in the drops,
Yep,
moving
I'll
things
be front
around.
stage.